In 1971, I was assigned to state conferences in Western Samoa, including organization of a new stake on Upolu Island. After interviews, we chartered a small plane to Savai'i Island to hold state conference there. The plane landed on a grassy field at Faala. It was to return the next afternoon to take us back to Upolu Island. The day we were to return from Savai'i, it was raining. Knowing the plane could not land on the wet field, we drove to the west end of the island where there was a runway of sorts atop a coral break. We waited until dark, but no plane arrived. Finally, we learned by radio that there was a storm and the plane could not take off. We radioed back that we would come by boat. Someone was to meet us at Mulifanua. As we pulled out of a port in Savai'i, the captain of the 40-foot boat asked the mission president if he had a flashlight. Fortunately, he did and made a present of it to the captain. We made the 13-mile crossing to Upolu Island on very rough seas. None of us realized that a ferocious tropical storm had hit the island, and we were heading straight into it. We arrived in the harbor at Mulifanua. There was a narrow passage we were to go through along the reef. A light on the hill above the beach and the second lower light marked the narrow passage. When the boat was maneuvered so that the two lights were one above the other, the boat would be lined up properly to pass through the dangerous rocks that lined the passage. But that night, there's only one light. The two elders were waiting on the landing to meet us, but the crossing took much longer than usual. After watching for hours for signs of a boat, the elders tired and fell asleep, neglecting to turn on the second light, the lower light. As a result of the passage through the reef was not clear. The captain maneuvered the boat as best he could toward the one upper light on the shore, while a crewman held the borrowed flashlight over the bow, searching for the rocks ahead. We could hear the breakers crashing. When we were close enough to see them, with the flashlight, the captain frantically shouted, "Reverse," and backed away to try again to locate the passage. After many attempts, he knew it would be impossible to find the passage. All we could do is reach the harbor at Apia, 40 miles away. We were helpless against the ferocious power of the elements. I do not remember ever being where it was so dark. We made no progress for the first hour, even though the engine was at full throttle. The boat would struggle up a mountainous wave and pause in exhaustion at the top of the crest with the propellers out of water. The vibration of the propellers would shake the boat almost to pieces before it slid down the other side. We were lying spread-eagled on the cover of the cargo hold, holding on with our hands on one side and with our toes locked on the other to keep from being washed overboard. Brother Mark Littleford lost hold and was thrown against the low iron rail. His head was cut, but the rail kept him from being washed away. Eventually, we moved ahead and, near daylight, finally pulled into the harbor at Apia. Boats were lashed to one another for safety. There were several deep at the pier. We crawled across them, trying not to disturb those sleeping on deck. We made our way to Pasanga, dried our clothing, and headed for Valiautua to organize the new stake. I do not know who had been waiting at the beach at Mulifanua. I refused to let them tell me. But it is true that without that lower light, we all might have been lost. There is in our hymn book a very old and seldom sung hymn that is very special meaning to me. Brightly beams our Father's mercy from his lighthouse evermore, but to us he gives the keeping of the lights along the shore. Let the lower lights be burning, send a gleam across the way. Some poor fainting, struggling seaman, you may rescue, you may save. Dark the night of sin is settled, loud the angry billows roar. Eager eyes are watching, longing for the lights along the shore. Trim your feeble lamp, my brother, some poor sailor tempest-tossed, trying now to reach the harbor, in the darkness may be lost.
I was called as young men's president out here originally, and my first meeting out here was with one boy, and that was Junior Reyes.
I was only one in church, and I was like, every time I go to firesides with our youth leader, I'll be see the whole branch stake. They'll be like, they're all big, and it would just be me, and I'll be like, I gotta open my mouth. Why am I the only person? It's a lot of kids in Immokalee.
And Junior Reyes was challenged to go out and go invite some more friends, first to the scouting activities and then also to the Sunday meetings that we were having. And because of that, we had Wedner Dolly, join, and other friends, and those friends invited friends, and it was a really positive thing.
And from there on, step by step, we got more and more kids. I was the first one to convert into the church. I was one and only until I converted a buddy of mine, which is Wedner Dolly.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, he converted me. He invited me into the church, and then after that, I invited a few of my friends that I knew for a long time, Millsong, And won it?
Yeah. And then after that, what, bro? And then I came with my cousin right there, Nathan.
What's up? Yeah, I was converted to church by Mossad.
That's me. And I brought my buddy here, Jackson.
And then like a year later, my brother visited me and he started to stay with me. And then I invited my brother and my good friend Kevin right here.
Yeah, just like he said, he invited me. I was coming from my dad's house and he showed me this great church.
It all started with one person. It's like a tree.
Today we have 26 active boys coming to church.
Our Quorum is always together. I mean, we do everything together. There's a strong feeling in our group that we're brothers.
I love my brothers. Without them, I don't know where I would be right now.
They're simple to me because, like, every time if I'm about to do something bad or anything like that, I think twice, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm supposed to hold her and stuff, and like my friends are calling on me to do the right thing, and I'm calling on them to do the right thing. So yeah, it's really important to me.
Since we're from the church, well, like, we know what we expect out of each other.
It's important because it keeps us all together. Like, if someone's like not coming to church, I can ask them, why you don't come to church? Like, we all miss you, we need you. And they're like, yeah, we all miss you, and they'll come. That's why it's important to like always stay together as one. And when one try to fade out, we can always bring them back.
The largest group we have in our branch is our young men program, because these guys, they live the gospel. They're disciples of Christ, and they love the Lord, and they're not afraid to invite their friends to come and have the happiness and joy that they have.
I'm not afraid to talk to other people about the church because I tell them what's true, like what I know is true about Jesus Christ and about the church.
And sometimes church come up and like, what church you go to? Like, I go to Latter-day Saints church. Like, say, what's that? Like, come see, you'll see.
It shows that they really care and stuff. Like, they got the gospel and it did good for them, and they don't want nobody left behind. So it shows a lot. That's why we invite a lot of people.
To me, to be a believer is to, you know what's true. You're not afraid to tell people what you know is true because you're a believer.
We read in Doctrine and Covenants that they're challenged to invite all to come unto Christ. And that's exactly what they did. They went and invited their friends. These boys aren't afraid to open their mouth and to share the gospel with their friends.